Alright, so here's the thing. I just finished playing War of the Spire B 10 minutes ago. Um, you know, I've sat here contemplating my life choices. I turned it off forgetting to do the outpost phase, which doesn't really matter. So I figured I would just finish it up. I got the radishes event, whatever. Nothing happened when time passed. Then I spent 8 gold on Fist to get a whole bunch of materials on Gem, and we're gonna retire. I have really enjoyed playing Geminate. I was kind of like running through in my head like, what scenario would I go play? And literally the only thing I was thinking about was playing more with this corrosive acids card, which I kind of feel like we've gotten enough of, right? We've gotten our fill of this card. Honestly, this is what Geminate as a class has just boiled down to for me in the past couple scenarios, which has been really fun. I have really enjoyed playing this class around corrosive acids. I do think that leveling up, I wish I had taken different choices. Venomous Barbs is kind of cool. I got a couple cool uses out of the top paired with Mandible Storm, but I really think that Locust Host is just kind of important. This push can be really good, especially when it synergizes with other characters. When you just end next to something, you take 1 step away, then they're range 2, and you can push them 2 away, and you can hit them with an exact range 3-4 thing. And that's just really good. The top, you really don't need to get much use out of, but it's your fastest range card, besides Mind Spike, which is really good. So I think level 2, I should have taken Locust Host. Dragonfly Surge or Mandible Storm, I'm not sure. Both of them, I think, are very good. I really think that you can go either way. I definitely think that Thresh and Flail is better than whatever I took. Which I think I don't even have. Luminous Descent is okay. I do like this move 5 jump stun, especially paired with the level 8 card Oscillating Entity. But, I don't know. I think both level 5 cards are really bad. So, I think level 5 is the point where you can go back and you can take Luminous Descent for this stun, or you go back and you take either Mandible Storm or Dragonfly Surge, the one that you didn't take. I think that that's probably definitely the play, going back and taking Mandible Storm, because I think Mandible Storm plus Thresh and Flail are a pretty good combo. Pulling things in and getting multiple things off on them. So I really wish I had done a lot of things differently with the cards. I think level 7 I should have gone back to take Gerudo Therapy. Corrosive Acids is definitely the play. A lot of the level 1 cards are really good, like Drag Down's really good, Reckless Jab is really good, both halves of it. Icebound Quills is really good. So like a lot of these melee level 1 cards, you can keep those forever. Draining Pincers because you need the switch, so that's 4 really good level 1 melee cards. I think you throw Thresh and Flail in there. If at level 5 you take Mandible Storm, then you take Corrosive Acids. Honestly, I don't think you need anything else. Like, I think that that is a fully built out, really good melee gem right there. And, like, you could even take that to level 9 just with these 3 level 1 cards. You know, Thresh and Flail can pair really well, like, if you just need to go fast, but you can pull in with the... Oh, no, Thresh and Flail is the pull in. Okay, I'm dumb. Whatever. Oh, you know what? I never even considered it, but this pull, if you can get multiple targets and just pull an extra thing in to get more corrosive acids off, yeah, this is definitely the play. So I think that this way you just need 3 level up cards in melee, and then everything else you can just take a whole bunch of ranged stuff. And then, because a lot of these ranged cards I wasn't getting very much use out of. Selfless Offering, like, you kind of want the switch, but if you have it with Dragonfly Surge, maybe you don't need it. And then if you're adding Pierce, all of a sudden something like this Locust Host attack becomes a lot better. Luminous Descent is okay. Gerudo Therapy is really good to get that ranged attack. Kitness Horde, no. But then I think I would have rather had Gerudo Therapy than Alluring Pheromones. And then Into My Embrace is always really good. That pull can be really nice. I actually feel like I missed several opportunities to play this loss. Oscillating Entity, I think, is really cool. Both halves of it really, really nice. So anyway, those are just some my rumblings about Geminate. I actually really like this class. I almost even look forward to the next time that I play it and taking those specific level up cards. And I think that the class will play very, very differently from how I played it in this experience. And I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be better. Because you've got so many good level 1 melee cards that I think taking up the leveling ranged cards, at least early, it will be really strong. So we're going to retire. We need 120 gold to retire. And so we have none because we've been just draining gold on gem to delay retiring. But I think at this point I'm ready to be there. So that's 20 when we sell those. That's 35 when we sell those. That is 65. Plus 15 is 80. Plus 12 is 92. I really thought that I had more items than this. Well, I guess there are a lot there. So we were at 92. Each of these sell for 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You don't technically sell these directly, but there are enough things that I can go buy for all of these that it's fine. 12 is 24. 24 gold. We need to get to 120. We were at 92, which means we need 6 more. 4 more. We need 4 more. And then unhealthy mixture is made out of 2 things, so we can sell it for 4, just like these. You can sell these for 4. Or we can just sell this for 4. Sell cure potion for 4. And then that's the 120 gold that we need. Drop all of these items right back in there. And 120. Then I will just disenchant these potions. So we will take Axe Nut, and I can get either Corpse Cap or Snow Thistle. So we'll take Snow Thistle, I think. Axe Nut. And gem is done. We are retired. We will unlock this thing. I did really enjoy this. 160.3. I like gem more than Drifter. And I think it's stronger. I do think it is stronger than Drifter. Probably not at level 1. Although, honestly, they are maybe the 2 strongest level 1s. Like, just base cards. Just because you've got a lot of losses. And some of those losses really are... They scale well enough that you can be playing them, like, super late game. You've got a lot of bottom and top attacks. You've got a lot of burst for things. You've got a lot of ability to play losses when you need to. So, it's an interesting class. I like it. We open 37. Which is down here. And that is done. It should have added the thing for us. We get 2 prosperity. And it was 160 dot what? .3. Oh, we read that. We don't add it to the calendar. We probably add something to the calendar because that's what you basically always do. But 160. 193.2 in 4 weeks. The Geminate seems smaller somehow. It may be that their swarm has lost some number, or maybe that they're just more tightly packed. It is both. The Geminate hisses when you ask. You pick up the hint of dismay in their voice. It is too cold. Our swarm, it is slowly dying, unable to reproduce fast enough. We try to pack together to stay warm, but it is not enough. We fear we must leave this place soon. The form of the Geminate shifts suddenly, and a different voice emanates from within. The path is clear to us, at least, even if the other half is yet to agree. We must make our way to the Radiant Forest. It is much warmer, and we hear there are others of our kind there. It would be nice to commune with others. We grow tired of fleshy companions. The Geminate shifts again. We are swayed by this plan. The Radiant Forest is as good a destination as any. At this point, you feel you're no longer part of the conversation, and take your leave. A few days later, the Geminate is gone, leaving only dead bugs where it made its nest. 193.2 in 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 193.2, or was it 2.3? 3.2. Done. We got up to level 8. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 perks. And both masteries. Okay. I'm not missing anything. We can remove it. Delete it. And, I'm thinking here it's time we do, what I've been avoiding. And we are going Meteor. So, spoilers for Meteor. Now. Well, not yet. It's gotta download all the cards, because I've never pulled it up before in this. Let's review, because I am not familiar. I have played this class to level 5. I think I played one scenario with Rain of Fire. Maybe not. Maybe I only played to level 4 with Heatwave. And I stopped the class. I kind of gave it up because, like, what the heck is this? Do you really set fire, like, every turn, 3 turns in a row? It's, like, absurd. I kind of set the class aside because I was actually playing it with a fist, and it felt like there was no point in the fist being a fist and doing fist things, because the only thing it made any sense for them to do was to push through the hazards that I made, which just felt a little bit so with that in mind, let's read through these cards. I guess we'll just do this as a Meteor review thing, kind of thing. And maybe I won't play a level, because I was thinking I would play a level, but now I'm feeling really tired, and I already played 3 today. Only 1-1. But that's okay. So, let's see. Force of the Earth. Attack 1, range 3, pull 2, muddle. 15 initiative. On the bottom... so a big thing that we have, I believe all of our ticks are mandatory. Let's check it out here. You can create many hazardous terrain and obstacle tiles to damage and impede your enemies. When creating multiple overlay tiles, you are not required to create the maximum number indicated on the ability. Like any other class, the Pyroclast cannot create obstacles in hexes that would block off parts of the map. There can never be more than 6 hexes of hazardous terrain you created on the map at any one time. If you would create a 7th, first remove any one existing hazardous terrain that you have created. But it's just any one. It's not the oldest, the longest surviving. You have many abilities with mandatory persistent bonuses. Unlike other classes who can move cards with persistent bonuses to their discard pile or lost pile if the action has a lost action, whenever they want, you can only do so for cards with mandatory persistent bonuses at the start of your rests. So, things like... it's probably all of them. I mean, this is a good one, so you wouldn't really want to discard this one. But destroy an adjacent obstacle tile. If you do, on your next 2 heals targeting you, add +3 heal. I mean, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. But you have things like this one. On your next 3 attacks, add -1. Then double the value of your following attack. So you cannot get rid of this early to get rid of those -1s that you're giving yourself. And then there's this one, all attacks targeting you add +1 damage. So this tick has to stay up until you've finished all of them or you rest. So, Force of Earth seems like a really good card. I don't know why you wouldn't take this. Attacking something and pulling it through, 4 to 6 damage of hazardous terrain. Why not? Like, what's bad about that? On the bottom, I can actually see getting a little bit of use out of this. The problem is that you have to already be next to an obstacle, which can be difficult. We can create them, but I don't remember doing that at all. But, I mean, if you're about to rest, play this to heal 5 out of your rest instead of 2. Why not, right? So that seems like a good card. Seems like that is coming. Then Igneous Path. I love this card. I really like the top loss. Designate a featureless hex within range 4. Create a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile in that hex and all featureless hexes on a direct path to it. Figures occupying the hexes with created tiles suffer 3. Gain 1 XP per figure damaged. I mean, I found that this was very, very, very easy to get at least 9 damage and 3 hazards out of. And, just pair it with a push and you're golden. You're dealing a ton of damage in the round, and it sets fire, and it's 18 initiative. Like, what is there not to love? On the bottom, move 1, consume fire to make it move 2. Create a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile in each featureless hex you leave during the movement. Unfortunately, they have to be featureless hexes, so we can't, use Fist's icy terrain to get extra move, which would be sick, but not something we can do. But still, I mean, if you move 2 and you make 2 hazards, you're right next to something, you walk 2 away from it, you make 2 hazardous terrain tiles in the hexes you left, then you pull them through, and that's really good. Designate a hex containing an obstacle within range 4. Destroy the obstacle to perform attack 1. Target all adjacents. Would this have been too OP if it was attack 2? I don't think so. Really hard to get an obstacle in the right spot. Attack 1, target all adjacents, push 1, and muddle. Perform the attack as if you were in the thing, and make leaf. This seems like a lot is going on there. And you get an experience. On the bottom, move 3. Replace 1 or 2 adjacent 1-hex hazardous terrain tiles in unoccupied hexes with 1-hex obstacle tiles. If you do, create leaf and gain an experience. So, I mean, I don't remember any good uses for that. Most likely, we're just not doing anything with obstacles. You could use it to set up an obstacle so that the next turn you could play Force of Earth here. Probably not coming. So let's just put it down here. Flowing Fire. I really liked this card. Attack 2 in a weird pattern. Consume fire to create hazardous terrain in each empty red hex of the attack ability. So that is not featureless. If there is an enemy there, you do not make a hazard under them. However, I know that there were multiple times that I was able to pair this with Force of the Earth. I guess not in the same turn, was I? Maybe I'm thinking a different card. Maybe I'm thinking a bottom where you move and push, because I know that's a thing. So I could attack 2 on something right here, make hazards behind it, and then push the guy through it. And that seems really good. Or you could like go late, hit them and make hazards on the way, and then pull them next turn with Force of Earth. Really good. Yeah, speaking of, I mean, we've seen tons of hazards, so why not have push 3, suffer 6, or attack 3, push 2, suffer 6. And then on the bottom, here's where we get that insane push. Move 3, consume leaf to get push 3. Really good. Really, really, really good. Really good. Yeah, this is a weird one. I didn't bring this card. So, push 3 on one target in range 1. Consume leaf to double the damage inflicted by any hazardous terrain the target moved through. Then, regardless of line of sight, replace those hazards with obstacles. So, we don't have very much move and make obstacle stuff. We can do it with the 18 speed, with Igneous Path. If we have things to give us bonus movement, like +1 movement with the weathered boots, then we could make 3 hazards with this. Let's see, if we make like hazard, that means we started here, and so we would go like 1, 2, 3, and we wouldn't have jump if we used weathered boots, so there wouldn't be something right here for us to be able to push. So maybe we would need to go like 1, 2, 3, and then we could push something through 1 or 2. And so it's really hard for us to get that in a single turn. Maybe I didn't lay it out correctly, but this is what we look like. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know if this card is coming. I mean, double the damage inflicted by hazardous terrain is pretty sick. If we get a really nice Igneous Path set up, and then we can Quenched Rage the following turn, we would need Leaf, but that could very realistically be, what, 3 times 3 times 2? So, 18 damage out of a Quenched Range? That's actually absurd. On the bottom is also very cool. On your next 3 attacks, add -1, then double the value of your following attack. So 3 weak attacks in order to get a strong one. But, I mean, if your weak attack is attack for 0, make them suffer 6, that's not that weak. If it's attack for 2, make them suffer 6, that's not that weak. So, the only problem with this is that we don't have really high base damages to double. We do have Brittle, though, that we're playing with from Fist. And so that could make for some really interesting things. I know this Under Pressure card. So how exactly does the double attack on this work? Hopefully someone will tell me. Double the value of your following attack. I think like that just... I think that almost is working like Brittle, where you double the final... Because it's not saying like double the base value of your attack. Double the value of your following attack. So if we do Under Pressure, which is attack 3, add +2 if the target is adjacent to at least 2 obstacles, objectives, or walls. So if this is doubled, is this attack for 10? And it's the value of the attack, so I guess that's before you pull a modifier. So we would attack for 10, and then if we pull a +1, we deal 11, not 12. I think. Or does the 3 get doubled to 6, and then we add +2, and it's an attack for 8, and a +1 would deal 9? I'm not sure. It's a very interesting card that I would like to try to play around. Somebody did mention, when I was talking about this class before, in my last playthrough, somebody did mention a build that revolves around this, and I think the level 2 card, but we won't worry about that until we get there. I also really like this card. Eruption. Create a 1-hex obstacle in an empty hex within range 5. Then create 1-hex hazardous terrain tiles in all occupied but featureless hexes adjacent to the obstacle. The figures in those hexes suffer 4. So I found this pretty easy to hit like 3 targets with, once again. So you make 3 hazards and you make things suffer. That's just good. That's very good. And it makes double elements, which we've seen quite a few good uses of elements, like flowing fire. Create fire to put more hazards behind, and then liquid stone, move up and push for 3 and get an insane amount of suffrage out of that. That's good. On the bottom, attack for 2, make fire. I don't really recall ever getting this to work. When you have just like a small weak bottom attack, you want it to be early. 47 is a very bad initiative, but I mean, it's such a cool loss, we gotta play it, right? Lava Bomb, create a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile in the featureless hex occupied by the target. Make fire. I think the make fire is the most important part, because then that sets up your igneous path. It sets up flowing fire. Attack 2, make a hazard under them is a little bit weak, but we have move 4 on the bottom, so good card. Attack 3, add a damage and pierce 3 and gain an experience if they're in a hazard. Yes, please. Yeah, that's really good. Why is it base attack 7? We already have so much suffer damage. Do we really need base attack 7 into high shield targets? Then on the bottom, add +1 to your next 3 attacks, but you suffer extra damage. It's just really hard to set this up at the right time, I think, since it's 62 initiative and it's not moving on the bottom. I guess that means that you kind of want to play it like in between rooms, but it's also a persistent ability, so you don't really want to play it right before you rest, because it might be eating your stamina. So it seems very hard to have a good time to play this. Like, do we have a good top attack to pair it with? A flowing fire? Not really. I mean, I guess if we're hitting 3 targets with flowing fire, we might as well make it an attack 3 instead, but we don't see any other good top attacks. I mean, Force of the Earth, I guess, is a fast attack that we're doing at range, so we might as well make it an attack 2, but is it really worth that bottom to make it an attack 2? I'm not sure. But the top is so good, so it feels like the card comes. Permanent shield 1, permanent retaliate 1. I mean, I like both of those. That sounds fun to mess with. We're medium health, right? Yeah, medium health, 10 cards. I don't know. Move the character token on one of your persistent abilities forward 1 slot. So, I mean, I feel like that's just for quenched rage, right? To skip. I mean, it's kind of like it almost says add +1 damage. Since it skips one of the ticks. I don't know. I don't know if that comes, because we don't really need the top. I mean, I feel like we print enough experience with Eruption and Igneous Path, with those losses, that we don't really need to bring Metamorphic Rock for the experience. This bottom is interesting. I don't know. Okay, also, like, for some reason, I found myself never playing this, even though it feels really good. The top, I think, is useless. Destroy an adjacent hazardous terrain tile. If you do, on your next 3 attacks, add wound, poison, and fire. What? Like, why? Why? What? Why? I don't know. I mean, using your top to add 1 wound and 1 poison to your next 2 attacks. And, like, you can't even discard it early unless you're resting. I don't know. I just don't know. The bottom feels like it should be really good. Move 4, wound self, wound 2 targets. I love moving and wounding things. I just love it. I loved it with Saw. I love it with Kelp. I don't know why I frequently found myself not really doing this. Maybe I was like staying more at range, but we haven't seen ranged things. So I don't know why I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, it's a late move card, which is good. I mean, we gotta bring it. Replace a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile in an unoccupied hex within range 4 with an obstacle. All enemies adjacent to that tile suffer 2. That's not bad. You can make multiple enemies suffer 2. It does have to be an unoccupied hex, which makes things a little bit harder because a lot of our stuff is making a hazard under something. But also it's possible to just push something off, like with the bottom. And it makes Leaf, which we have seen good uses for Leaf. There's the Quenched Rage to potentially do really big damage in a burst, but I think mostly this Liquid Stone, because you're getting a lot of damage out of that push a lot of the time. We need one card to not bring between Cooling and Under Pressure. And I think Under Pressure is better. We get this Heal 5 Self, but then on your next 3 move abilities, get Reduced Move. So that's really rough. But if you just play Heal 5 Self right before you Long Rest, then you don't have to worry about the move abilities. I feel like I also didn't mention Flowing Fire. Move 6 now and at the start of your next 2 turns, suffer 1. So that makes you suffer some, but move 6 is amazing. And then this counteracts it because you get reduced moves, but you get to heal off the damage. But I mean, if you did like the move 6 early in the rest cycle, then you're playing Cooling later in the rest cycle, and so you're very likely to not even have to worry about this 3 reduced moves. I like both of these. We haven't seen any access to healing. I definitely am bringing Under Pressure. We looked at it earlier. I like the top. I like the bottom. It's a decent loot ability. I mean, Redguard got the most use out of that ability, but it's still really good. It gives us a late card, which is really good. I want Cooling. I feel like I want Cooling more than I want Quenched Fist. Where else are we getting Leaf? Just Under Pressure bottom. So I think I am bringing Cooling and leaving behind Quenched Fist. This is definitely a card that I'm going to bring to some scenarios. Especially, I mean, I really want to do a boss fight where I do the double damage on this. There's a double damage card at level 2. But this one's a loss. But I really, really, really want to face a boss and double brittle him. I really, really want to do that. So we'll get there eventually. That is definitely something that I will do at some point in time. Are we... I'm going to start at level 1, I think. What does this do to my difficulty? I don't think I mentioned it. I leveled up on Bone Shaper. Ugh, we go down 1 monster level. Disgusting. But I hit level 3 on Bone Shaper, and I took Grave Digging. I have to just put my 1 for retiring somebody into you and all allies are unaffected by the hazardous terrain you create, because that's just way too important. Move enemies through 6 different hexes of hazardous terrain you created in 1 turn. 3 push with Liquid Stone bottom. And I guess 3 push with Quenched Rage top. But you need a really weird setup for that. That's something like this with 2 enemies right here. And that seems like a really strange setup to have. Maybe theoretically possible, but then it would work with Quenched Rage and Liquid Stone. Maybe. Seems like a difficult mastery. Create or destroy at least one obstacle or hazardous terrain tile each round. Ooh. Hard. Can't long rest. But, I don't know. Not too bad. We add 2 rolling +1 muddles. That's interesting. I didn't know that. What else do we get that's interesting? Whenever you long rest, you may destroy one adjacent obstacle to ward yourself. Whenever you short rest, you may consume fire to perform wound target 1 occupying or adjacent to a hazard. Kind of like it, but it does consume your fire. 2 +1 create either elements. Replace 2 zeros with 2 rolling push 2s. Replace 2 +1s with 2 +2s. Okay, that doesn't ever need to get grabbed. Replace a -1 with a 0. Create a 1 hex hazardous terrain tile in the hex they occupy. I like that. So probably those first. Replace -1s with 0. Make hazards. That seems good. Hopefully I can get that top mastery. Bottom one, I don't know about. Maybe we need like heat wave at level 4 or something to get that to work. I guess we'll glance at level up cards. Attack 2 target all adjacents is very interesting. Attack 3 target all adjacents is good. The initiative is too bad for us to pair it with this to make it attack 4 target all adjacents. I mean, because you're not doing that. You're not moving and attacking 4 on all adjacents at 45 speed. Which is a shame, because it would be really nice if you could pair it with that. Quenched Raged, I guess, is 30. So if you had played Melted Armor earlier, and then you move up to Searing Smoke, you could potentially go at 30 and add Quench Rage and Searing Smoke, and so you would get like attack 3, attack 3, attack 8 or something like that if you had already used some of these. I don't know. That could be interesting. Move forward, jump, muddle all enemies move through. It's fine. Deep Fury. This is the card that I used. Or that I took. Attack 3, add +1, and push 2, and gain an experience if you are occupying hazardous terrain. So I like that. Although we have to suffer until we get the 3 perks, the 3 check perks, so we need that ASAP. If we are in hazardous terrain, heal 2. Yeah, I mean, that's so good. I don't see how you take the other one. That just seems better. Just really useful ability. Attack 4, push 2 is so good. On bottom, heal 3 self, and then we can enhance that really cheaply. What? No. Oh, because it's a persistent ability. It has, like, tripled cost. I don't think that that's right. There's no way this is supposed to have tripled cost. So I think I would divide the cost by 3. Also, the pip thing isn't accurate because this should show us strengthen. So yeah, I do not believe that these enhancement costs are correct. We can check with basically this card because it should cost the same, except it should have the level bonus. So 40. It should cost about this because it's a loss to add the strengthen. And then whatever the level bonus costs. Because you are not enhancing the persistent ability, even though it has one. So the level bonus is 25. So this should cost 65. I think the 20% discount goes after, so it should cost 60. 60 to add strength into this. Although that's not an option here, so we'd have to Photoshop it. Which is not something I'm above doing. But I don't think we even have to, because I think it's right here. And we could just do that. Okay. I definitely think I'm taking Deep Fury, and maybe I'm even adding the strength in for 60 gold. On your next attack, targeting an enemy occupying hazardous terrain, double the value of the attack. And so now we have a base attack of 20. I'll take it. Let's see. What's the verbiage? Value of the attack. Double the value of your following attack. So, I mean, I think it works. And then, yeah, adding the strength into that seems really nice. I like that card. Living Magma. This just seems so crazy. Now and at the start of your next 2 turns, perform attack 1. Target an enemy adjacent to hazardous terrain. Which means that you can target them if they're on it too, right? Pierce 2 and wound. And so, like, that's such long range. It requires line of sight, but I don't know. I mean, attack 1, this can get through your -1, or add the +1s to make them attack 2 with pierce and wound. Or just use it to get rid of your quenched rages really fast. There's no downside to having this up, so having your turn just be attack 1 fire, I guess isn't that good, but then you get free attack 1 fires the next 2 rounds as well. It's just crazy. On the bottom, move 1 adjacent 1 hex hazardous terrain tile up to 2 hexes. If it enters any hex occupied by a figure, that figure suffers hazardous terrain damage. So I guess you could do that to 2 different enemies. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Or Hardened Spike, attack 5 +1 and gain 1 if the target is in hazards. So attack 6 if you're going for Deep Fury. Now and at the start of your next 2 turns, suffer 1. But set Leaf. That seems pretty good too. Living Magma felt really OP, so maybe I would try this Hardened Spike. On the bottom, move 3. Add +1 to your next attack this round, targeting an enemy adjacent to an obstacle. But move 3, add +3 to your next attack is really good if you have Leaf and they're adjacent to an obstacle. Adjacent to an obstacle is hard though. But maybe you get to double it. Maybe you do. I mean, if you're like setting things up for a boss and you brittle them and you double them and you add 3 to your under pressure. I don't know. That level 3 is hard. Attack 4 muddle, create a hazardous terrain in the hex they occupied. I mean, it's a little bit better than the level 1 card, but not much, because that was attack 2 at range, and this is attack 4 melee. Maybe a little underwhelming. On the bottom, we've got attack 2 wound, but if you take Living Magma, there's no reason to take an attack 2 wound on the bottom. So Hand of Flame doesn't seem necessary. Heat Wave, all adjacent enemies suffer 2, which is really nice. Push 2, targeting everything in range 3, which is so much push. Push 2, targeting everything in range 4 with fire. You probably don't need that extra, because if they're 4 range away, how are you pushing them into hazards anyway? At the start of your next turn, suffer 2, but it's not even now and at the start of your next turn, just at the start of your next turn. So if you rest in between, you don't have to do it. And you are 8 speed, so I mean, what is not to love? Move to Consume Fire, which we can have a ton of fire from Living Magma. Create a 1 hex obstacle in an adjacent empty hex. And a lot of the things we need obstacles for, but I don't know if that's good enough to justify it. But maybe this is just move 2, set Leaf. Move 2, turn fire into Leaf. Which is pretty good to do at 8 speed. Also, yeah, I could see that pairing with a lot of the obstacle things. I mean, maybe you pair it with under pressure to get the second obstacle that you need, since there was already one, or they were already next to one wall. Seems good. Rain of Fire. Create 2 1-hex hazardous terrain tiles in featureless hexes within range 3. All allies or enemies occupying or adjacent to any of those hexes suffer 1. Suffer 1 is not that much. The more you know. But that can be a very large AoE. Very, very large. Move 5 jump is nice. No complaints there. This is definitely the more interesting card. Attack 3, target 2, range 3. Consume both elements, which we haven't seen amazing ways to make both. Although we have really easy ways to make fire, so we just need to make a leaf then. Consume both elements to make it attack 3, target 3. To turn it into fire orbs. And it's called magma orbs. And it's 82 initiative, so, but it is ranged, but things could eat your elements. But you could pair that with melted armor in the same round and then get 3 attacks for 4. Which is good, you know, especially if you double one of those to make that an attack for 8. It seems decent. On the bottom, create a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile in an adjacent empty hex and pull something at range 2, though, and it's only pull 1. So that's not amazing, but also a bottom that says make something suffer 3 is... I could really easily see this picking up a kill on something. Really, really, really easily. They walked up and hit an adjacent ally. Your ally hit them back. They survive with 2 health. Make a thing, pull them in. They die. I don't know. I like both of those. I don't know how much the move 5 jump is needed. Maybe it's not, given that we have this move 6. But I would have to evaluate it at the time. I want to take magma orbs, but I don't know. Return to the Scourge. Attack 3, pull 4, attack 3, range 4, pull 3. When the next enemy would suffer damage from entering hazardous terrain, negate the damage. So you pull them for 3, but they only suffer through 2 of the 3 that you pull them through. Still, it's 14 initiative. It sets more fire because we were really, really short on our fire. Move 4, ignore hazardous terrain during this movement, but like we do that anyway. I guess we only ignore the stuff we make, but that's most of it. Heal X, where X is the number of different hazardous terrain tiles you move through. That's good. That is good. Move 4, heal 2, heal 3. Maybe heal 4. On the next 4 sources of damage you suffer from attacks targeting you, gain a shield. When your token moves off the last use slot, the attacking enemy suffers 5, and you create an obstacle in an adjacent hex. Okay. Shield 4, non-loss persistent. I'll take it. Also, I mean, you're pretty likely to get that suffer 5. I could see that being really useful with the permanent shield 1, retaliate 1 card. That's kind of interesting. It took a very long time to like get to a use for that. There is the perk to destroy obstacles for ward. Move 3, suffer 2, or destroy an obstacle. Negate the next damage you suffer this round. I feel like I like that more than the top. Definitely if you're destroying an obstacle and not suffering. Okay. Also, though, move 3, make leave. I don't know. That's tough. Return to the source sounds really good. Erupting Rage, attack 4, push 2. You may push into obstacles. If you do, replace the obstacle with a hazard, and they suffer hazard damage. Create a 1-hex hazard in an adjacent hex. Move 3, create a 1 hex hazard in an adjacent hex. That's really good. Really, really good. Designate a hex containing a hazardous terrain tile within range 4. Destroy the tile to perform attack 3. Target all enemies occupying or adjacent to the designated hex within range 5. Add Pierce 2. That's so good. Because it's really easy to get hazardous that's away from you and adjacent to a bunch of things, and then we can add +1 to some of those hits, or double one of them. All enemies in the same room as you suffer damage equal to the number of hazardous tiles in the room, up to a maximum of 5 per enemy. So everything in the room with you suffers 5. All enemies in the room as you, not even allies as well. That's so good. Designate a hex containing a hazardous terrain tile within range 3. Destroy 1 adjacent obstacle tile to create 2 1 hex hazardous terrain tiles in featureless hexes adjacent to the designated hex. Each enemy occupying... I feel like I've never read this card in my entire life. Each enemy occupying the designated hex or the hexes with the created tiles suffers 5. Okay. So you destroy an obstacle next to you, and you can make up to 3 enemies suffer 5 if they're adjacent to each, if they're all adjacent, and 2 of them get hazards under them. Move 2, destroy 1 adjacent hazardous terrain tile to cause the target of your next attack this round to suffer hazardous terrain damage after the attack. Okay. Interesting. This is like the card that you really want to pair with double, boil and trouble. Attack 8 with fire and leaf. Suffer 3 self, but I mean, who cares? On that bottom though, move 2, attack up to 2 targets for 3. Yes, please. That is so good. Probably mostly using it for the bottom. And then finally level 9. A little bit away from there. Whenever you would suffer damage, you may destroy an adjacent obstacle to negate the damage. Maybe this guy's like insane in survive. Well, yeah, you are insane in survive 12 round scenarios, but that's just because you place hazards everywhere and nothing can reach you, and then when they do get close, you just push them away. And your allies don't suffer damage going over your hazards, so you make a wall of hazards. Things finally reach you, and then you push them through all of them, and then they have to come back, and they kill themselves walking to you. So, I mean, do we even need to do that? Move 3, jump, shield X, where X is the number of adjacent hexes with objectives. 8 speed, but we also... or 9 speed, but we had an 8 earlier. Create 3 1-hex hazardous terrain tiles in featureless hexes, and 3 1-hex obstacle tiles in empty hexes in the same room as you, with no range requirements. All enemies in this room suffer 4. Double elements to make it 5 hazards and 5 obstacles, and then everything suffers 4. And then obviously you play that with Swelter to make all enemies suffer 5, and all enemies suffer 10 in the same room as you. With the only setup being needing fire, but also you just do that on turn 1, and you use the potion that allows you to skip an enhancement, and turn 1 you just make everything suffer 10. Or maybe control all enemies in the same room as you to move 1, with you controlling the abilities. Make everything suffer 4, because this is your level 9 card, so now your hazards are dealing 4. Yeah. I mean, you can really easily see what makes it so insane. Because, say there's just like a square room that monsters have to walk through to get to you. They have to walk through and suffer 6. And you're standing down here, so they come to right here. And then you just push them through with just anything. liquid stone bottom with quench rage top. You push them through, and they suffer another 6. And then they still want to walk back to you to get to you, so they walk back through and suffer another 6. And that's every enemy suffering 18 damage with just you doing things. And, like, you still can have a Geminate playing the level 2 card to move 1 back and push something for 2. And you can still have a Fist pulling with Freezing Shell to pull and make it suffer, and pushing with Frost Eruption. So this is going to change my Fist cards a lot, because these cards are going to have to come to, like, every scenario. And we just have to play them every turn. Primal Bellow is going to get some use, I think. Maybe. I probably drop Piercing Pummel now, even though we added the enhancement to it. I probably just don't have the room. Because what do I need Pierce 2 for when everything can just suffer? It's going to set up Mountain Fist really well. It's going to make Draw of the Bedrock bottom extremely attractive. We're going to have a lot more access to Leaf, so it's going to make Draw of the Bedrock top really easy to play as well. And then, like, some of those, like, Lost Suffers that are, like, Igneous Path suffer 3, Eruptions suffer 4. Eruptions suffer 4 damage, pairs decently with Draw of the Bedrock. I mean, attack something for 2 and then make it suffer 8 is not bad. Maybe Cold Boulder loses effectiveness because I don't really want to be making ice, because then those are featured hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a late move 6 potentially, but I think we'll leave it there for now. I guess items are a thing. Last time I checked, they were. We get 50 gold because we're Prosperity 3. We're Prosperity 3, so we should have paid 140 gold to retire Gem, but too late. Let's see. Dangerous Gear is almost interesting, except that's, like, also what we're just already doing, so, like, why? But also it's not bad. Make a bunch of things suffer 1, but it takes both hands. Both hands. Why both hands? We do have a lot of melee hits, so Poison Dagger is a possibility. Cracked Mirror to get an extra Igneous Path. Or an extra Eruption in a scenario. I don't hate it. Anything else a little bit better? Circlet of Elements, I don't think elements are going to be enough of an issue for that to be worth it. We do have some shielding stuff, so we could Heater Shield. Decanter of Mist is almost interesting. We don't really retaliate, though. And that's when you really want this thing. So Heater Shield could come. Immobilize could come. We only have 1 attack that works with it, though, so not really. Flashing Axe during your multi-target melee ability. I don't think that's a thing. Flowing Fire, but that's not. Yeah. Not very much of a thing. Boots of Speed are interesting because we really want the crew boots for Igneous Path. But we're not amazing on initiative. 15, 18, 20. Heavy Sword is good, but it's not a gold item. So I guess we'll run this. I mean, we get 50 gold, so I mean, this is a good melee setup. Reduce the damage, make sure you can't be crit, poison something when you hit it. I don't think anything else is going to be better. Amulet of Life could come because of Wildfire wounding ourselves. Yeah, I think I'd rather have that over leather armor. We can get cured leather armor. So I think that'll be how we spend our money. Potion, I have no idea what I'm really looking for, so maybe I just won't right now. I did get some axe nut. I don't know. I'll figure it out next time before I start playing. I'm very tired now. So I'm very ready for bed. But this was fun. This was fun. I have a lot of stuff to upload. 4 videos for today. So we could leave it there. Rather than leaving it there, let's grab a personal quest. 5 sledder boat missions, 150 experience from cards. Ugh. I guess we'll do 5 sledder boats because I don't like trying to keep track of things like experience from cards. And then we can build this. So 22110. Yeah, do I need to? I don't really need to, because I'm not anywhere close to the money. Whatever. 2, 2, 1, 10. I wanted to wait to get that enhancement, but now we have so much leaf coming out of everywhere that maybe we don't need the enhancement at all. Also, I have no idea. I've never even looked at enhancements for this guy, but it looks like we've got some good ones. We can enhance this push. Igneous Path, can you enhance the bottom? No. Under Pressure top. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's make sure we build that. 1 prosperity and 25.2. Oh wow, we're almost 4. Guys, this is all a misunderstanding. Zane, an acquaintance who always seems down on his luck, pleads as 2 guards push him unceremoniously into the tent of the new trading post. Mayor Sotha is waiting inside, arms crossed. Mayor, I was just coming to see you. Actually, I brokered a deal, a fantastic deal. The Abelai are willing to polish the town guards' weapons for a price you wouldn't believe. I just finished packing up the armory and was going to surprise everyone tomorrow morning. And did you think the Abelai wouldn't attack us while our defenses were off being polished? No, they were... I mean, it was really an excellent price. Zane meekly trails off, realization setting in. I've put up with your harebrained schemes in Frosthaven for long enough. This here, she gestures around the trading post tent, this is your penance. You will put that entrepreneurial spirit to work. You will receive shipments. You will sell goods. Honest goods. Zane looks mortified. But for how long? Sotha brushes past him on her way out of the tent. Until I say otherwise. And if you screw this up, I'm marching you out of Frosthaven myself. She nods at you in passing. Look, it's your first customers. Oh, hello. Zane gives you a sheepish smile. Welcome to the trading post. Add winter outpost 80, summer outpost 61. Whoa 80, so 61. Were 41. I'm not gonna remember that. Too tired. Were 41. So 60. 61. And were 80. No. Whoa 80. Winter outpost. Yeah. that said merchandise, so that seems like it's the right one. Whoa, 80, so 61, we're 41. Okay. Done. I can go to bed. Let me just make sure to save.